And joining us now to talk about the president's first 100 days, as well as Minnesota's legislative session, is political science professor David Schultz. Thank you so much for coming in.
Welcome.
So several polls show that President Trump has the worst approval rating at this point in tenure in history. Yet his supporters aren't leaving him. So what does that say?
Well, a couple things. First off, to point out, when he was inaugurated, he had the lowest approval ratings of any incoming president. What it's suggesting is that he's probably down to just about his core supporters at this point. That, remember, he won with core supporters plus some swing voters. It looks like those swing voters have abandoned him. And so he doesn't have a lot of support, except for his core supporters. What does that mean? He has less leverage with Congress in terms of being able to push legislation. As we've seen, he has no major legislation passed. And what it also does is makes the Republicans nervous already thinking about 2018. But I think the main thing is that popularity translates into ability to influence, and his ability to move people is less than he hopes.
Right, and in the last few weeks, we have seen a lot of reversal on some policy promises he made during his campaign. So what's your take on that? We've seen reversal on Syria. We've seen his announcement in the last day or two about the Dreamers. Right. What's your take on that?
Well, there's two different possibilities here. One is a learning curve, that he's starting to realize that things that he promised as candidate he really can't do, and he's going through what would be a normal learning curve, and for him a larger learning curve given the fact that he had no experience in terms of having worked in the government before. So that's one, learning curve. The second is, and I've argued that this is the normalizing of the presidency. And what I mean by that, the bureaucracy is so powerful out there, the foreign establishment, the Washington establishment, that in many ways the swamp that he said he was going to drain, if I use his words, is actually capturing him now.
Right, and I do want to spend some time talking about state politics. Obviously, we're in a budget year and about a month of the session, but the big issue is the transportation bill. Do you think we are going to see a lasting bill that impacts transportation? Because this has come up year after year.
Yeah, this was a session that was defined as a transportation session, as was last year, as I think it was the previous years. And it's difficult to see a compromise, although in the last 48 hours, the governor has said that he would consider a transportation bill without a raising of the gas taxes, because that's a non-starter with Republicans. Right now, I would still say the chances of getting a longer-term solution are very, very difficult. But again, I come back and say that for a state that experienced a crash of a major bridge, you think it would be easier for us to be able to reach agreement. But it still seems to be the fact that the Democrats and the Republicans, especially the governor and the Republicans, are very far apart in terms of their priorities for how they want to fund projects. On top of which, it's not just funding, but it's also about what? Mass transportation and light rail.
Right, and I do have to ask, obviously the budget should be the priority, funding the government, yet it seems like there's some distractions. We had Sunday liquor sales. Is that distracting them from the core issue of what they need to do is figure out the budget?
I actually think it does. I think the fact that they come into session beginning of January, wait a month for the governor to propose the budget, and then wait another month to get the fiscal forecast means what? They have spent their first 2 months worrying about other things instead of worrying about the budget. And I think that's a major mistake. And also, the omnibus bills are full of policy. That shouldn't happen. So I think there's some changes that need to be made in the budget process for it to work more efficiently.
Okay, and real quickly, I want to talk about this. Last week, Mayor Hodges ranked second worst mayor by the New York Observer. Your thoughts on that? They called her Charmin Soft and is alienating many factions. That's tough when you're going up in an election.
It's tough when you're going up in an election, but she had a great response to it. She said, this is the paper that was basically founded and operated by Trump's son-in-law. So whether or not it has lasting impact, I don't know, but it does speak to the troubles that her administration is facing and she's facing as she's running for re-election.
All right. Thank you so much for coming in. Really appreciate it.
No problem, Rachel.